This is Drew with thepodcastingstore.com, your one-stop shop for all things podcasting and remote learning. Well, hello, and welcome to one of the how-to videos. I've been meaning to do this one for a while. If you've been following some of the stuff that I've been doing, I've been making each week when I go out on the road what I call my view from the road videos. And those are the videos that I make while I'm out doing my route in Loveland, doing educational rep stuff for the Thompson School District. And I've taken to making those a little more complicated than your average driving video. I use the wireless system, the Rode Wireless Go 2, because that really reduces on the road noise. And I've been using two cameras. And so I've got one that's kind of a close-up angle of me head on and one that's a little bit of a wide shot. And that's mostly just to create interest because if I'm just droning on like I am right now for 3 to 5 to 8 minutes, a different angle gives you a different perspective. And also part of the idea behind it too with the wide angle is that it makes the viewer feel like they're in the car with you and coming along on the journey. And that's really what I want, because that's the whole point of those videos, is to kind of show a journey. And so what I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm finally getting around to it, is to make a video showing how I make these videos, and specifically how I use kind of a crossfade between the two cameras, because I think it creates a pretty neat effect. So let me open up Shotcut here, and then we'll go to the screen share. So to preface, I've already loaded my clips in here. I've added my intro on, and I've synced all my tracks. These are muted, as you can see, because I definitely don't want the audio from camera 2, which is my wide shot, and you can see that shot here if I do that. So these are my two shots. So I've got 1 and 2, and as usual with Shotcut, whatever's on top is what's going to show up. So you stack them up there. Basically, I put whatever I want my primary shot to be up on top, and then my secondary down below it. Now, I've added an extra track up here, and you'll see why in a second. And I've pulled the audio from camera 1, and that's on the bottom there. And right now I have the ripple trim and drop on, and to ripple across edit all tracks. I need to turn that off. I had that on when I got the tracks lined up, and then I added my intro on the front of it because I need everything to stay lined up. If you don't turn that off, every time that you cut something and move it, it's going to push everything around. It's Control Z is your friend when you do that. Actually, I'll just show you what happens when you do that. Why not? So if I did that and then I accidentally grab this, like, oh, I want to move this up to there, bang, you've just wrecked everything. It moved it over and it pushed it, and so you see how it's a disaster. So Control Z, put everything back the way that it was, or failing that, back to your last save point. Save often. I usually am not a huge fan of using the fades, mainly because it creates an artifact that you can't undo and you can't edit. But let's start the video in earnest here. So first thing, I need to fade in. So fade in video and then fade in audio. I usually like to do that effect. So it comes in for my intro. To see how that does that. To make sure that I got this right.
Well, greetings and welcome to the view from the road.
So got the fade right. I clipped it right. Great. At this point, I like to add my name in just for consistency's sake and make sure everyone knows who I am. So simple text. That's me. Size it up. And that's really not going to show up terribly well because I was wearing a white shirt. So I'm going to throw purple on this one. Podcasting purple. Good enough. And then I need to cut that. Oh, so see, I got to turn off my ripple trim and drop. I swear I'm better at this in real life. All right, so turn that off there. So then what happens is you get the effect.
Well, greetings and welcome to the view from the road. This is the last week before spring break. I know I'm excited. Get to go see some family and rest and recuperate.
So I got to remember what I said. So then I cut it again, and then I turn off the text, and that's not likely to come back for the rest of this video. Great.
And then finish out the year strong. And once we get back, there's a whole bunch of stuff going.
So there's a transition here in the thought process. I backed up a little bit on it. So this is a really great point for me to transition to the other camera angle because now we've kind of entered into the conversation and now we're going to back off and you're going to be the passenger here. So I'm going to do a cut on the track that I'm fading into first.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and this is the kind of stuff.
And that's about as long of a fade as I'm going to want. So I'm going to do a cut here. So now watch this technique. I've done this a bunch of different ways, and this seems to be the simplest one to do it. So let's lift out the clip onto our extra track that we created there, just to get it out of the way. We're not going to keep it there. And then the one that we want to bring in, we need to line up, let go of, and then you grab it and you can pull it right back. And this is why I trimmed it that way. And then bang, you've got your crossfade. And then I'm going to grab the track that we don't want, and I'm going to pull it down there. So now watch the effect that this creates. Now again, well, here, I'll show it to you first.
And once we get back, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And this is the kind of stuff I've been talking about with instrument tryouts. And
So now we're into the conversation. You're positioned like you would be in the passenger, and we're having a great time. Fantastic. This is also why I make sure that I muted those tracks preemptively, and I've got a separate audio track at the bottom. So now, no matter what I do to the video, the audio is going to stay consistent, which is really the goal here. Now, what I was alluding to here is that this little fade becomes its own thing. I can't do anything with that now once I save and I allow that to be. So make damn sure that when you use this fade that you like what you've got because you are stuck with it. You cannot edit that any further than that. So then we continue the
with
conversation
instrument
here.
tryouts and things of that
I
sort
apologize in
is
advance. I'm
we've
going to be
got
boring
a
you with
tryout
listening to
night
this
over
video if you
at
haven't
Bill
seen it
Reed
already.
on the 23rd, and then we've got a combined tryout night with a bunch of different schools over at Mountain View on the 30th, and then I believe over at New Vision on the 31st. So there's a lot of opportunities if you're going to be participating in band or orchestra to try out some instruments and to find which one is for you. And on that topic, I had a great.
So, topic change again. I don't want to be erratic with these camera changes, but I also do want to use them because I'm proud of the fact that I've got a multiple camera setup in a van. I mean, who does that? So since we're changing topics again, so we do the exact same thing here again. We come down here to this V1, this video one track. We do a cut there,
I had a great conversation with a teacher today. We were talking.
and then that's enough for that fade. And so then we just repeat the process. We pull that one out of the way. We grab this one, if it would do me the pleasure. Line it up there, let go of it, let it sit, and then pull it there, and then you've got your fade, and you pull this one out of the way. And doing it this way keeps the tracks lined up. Because I'm doing audio on a separate track for my video, I want to keep those synced up, because if those get unsynced, it's going to be a real pain in the ass to fix. So now watch the effect here as we go back to the up-close camera. And knowing what the topic was that I was talking about, I don't mind being a little more intimate with this one too, because I thought it was a pretty important
Find
point.
which one is for you. And on that topic, I had a great conversation with a teacher today. We were talking about what instruments kids start on, and I know that I've made the comment that what you start on doesn't have to be where you go, but the other side of it was that sometimes kids get, I don't want to say pigeonholed, but if you want to play saxophone, for example, that there's a requirement to start on clarinet. And I think that we're getting a little more away from that. That if you want to play an instrument, that you should start on that instrument. That if that's where.
And I know length of the video, we're going to start, it's not too bad. I'll let this run a little bit longer because I always like to end these with this up close one so it kind of puts a bookend on it. So what I'm looking for now is an opportunity to go back to the wide shot where the natural flow of the conversation is and then allow enough time for that to settle and then come back for the outro.
Your
So
passion
we're
is. And
waiting for that
I
opportunity.
talked about how back in New York, when I worked at Cornet Music, that we would have kids that really wanted to play guitar, and their parents would be like, "All right, but you got to
This seems like a good spot to start transitioning. So again, repeat the process.
start on this, an acoustic, classical guitar," but they just.
And again, I don't want to go too long on this crossfade because then that looks a little weird. So once again, from our top track, or what's currently our top track, pull it off, get it out of the way, bring this one up, let go of it, let it settle, bring it back down so the track stays synced, and then pull that one out of the way.
guitar, and their parents will be like, all right, but you got to start on this, an acoustic, classical guitar, but they just want to shred and rock out. And I always thought that go with where
Now, notice when it hits those transitions, it can be a little herky-jerky. That's just because what Shotcut's trying to do here is to process this all in real time. I use proxy editing, which keeps that to such a minimum, but I'm asking a lot of this computer. I use my laptop. I don't have a desktop with just massive amounts of RAM. So there's a couple little tricks there that you can do, but I'm not worried about that because when this video renders out, that's going to be smooth. So if you're worried about, oh my God, that's going to be a problem, it's not.
the passion is. Go with where the interest is. Meaning, if the kid wants to shred out and be Eddie Van Halen, that's fantastic because knowing a lot of professional guitar players and folks that really take it seriously, eventually they branch out and get into all of that stuff anyway. And they're going to want to increase the depth and breadth of their experience. And who cares what the jumping off point is? I mean, the overall goal that we have here is to help people love music through making music. And if that's playing on a saxophone or a bassoon or a cello, then that's fantastic. The kids should do that. And I know that a lot of kids will like play trombone, for example, and we still need tubas, we still need euphoniums. Whatever the entry point is, to me, is good enough. Let's just get.
So I hit the word good enough, and again, knowing where I went with the conversation, that's going to be a good jumping off point to get back into our outro. So I'm going to make my cut here,
Into it, get doing the activity, get participating,
and then make another cut here. Because I'm trying to land the plane here. So, I was in, out, in, and just again maintaining the interest for the viewer as opposed to having just one static angle. I feel like it could be a really effective technique. So yeah, slice, slice, get it out of the way, pull it up there, line it back up, and then get this the heck out of the way. And then once again, we'll look at the
to me,
effect.
is good enough. Let's just get into it, get doing the activity, get participating, and see what wonderful things and joy and camaraderie and teamwork can come out of all of it. So, anyway, that is the view from the road. I don't know if we're going to have one next week or not because I'll literally be on the road. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch up with you next time.
And then I'm going to cut off the end there. And this is one where it's mostly irrelevant to ripple, trim, and drop. It's more just that I want to stay in the habit of it. So if I make my cut here, and then if I hit X, they'll cut everything off at the end, which is what I want. Fade out video. Fade out audio. And then open file, because I am going to put my outro on the end of it. And this is why I do a prepackaged outro, so I have to create one every single time. And then I literally just pull that down here, tack it on, and then that's that. And then let's see how that looks.
As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch up with you next time.
Ta-da! So that's the guts of the video right there. Save, because I don't want to lose this. And now I'm going to take off the ripple, trim, and drop, because there's one last thing that I need to do. So that extra track at the top was useful while I was editing. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and you'll see why in a second. But there's one more element that I need to put on this video to make it complete in my mind. And I'm going to bring my player head back over here. And that is, I always like putting the store logo on it. And so that top track is going to be perfect for that. So I need to go up to my pictures, logos, and I've got logo circle white. And so that one's a clear one. I put it over here. And then I just do size, position, rotate. I've taken to putting them into the lower left corner. I used to do them in the lower right. Your mileage may vary. I just want that as the subliminal reminder of who's putting on this video because I'm proud of the stuff that I do and I want to show it off. Now, I want this to flow with the fade in and out at the beginning end of the video, so I'm going to do a video, because the logo is a video. I mean, it's a static picture, but it's still considered video. So fade in video and fade out video. And then the real magic, we just pull that across the entire thing. And since that's on the top, that's going to appear in every frame throughout the entire video. I should have zoomed out further to make this easier on myself, but here we are. And there it is. And so you can see now that logo is going to appear everywhere across the entire video, through the fades, everything. So now I've got a branded video using two cameras, crossfading between them with one audio source, and I think it's a more interesting driving video, and give it a try. It's not that complicated to do. And again, we're using Shotcut, which is a free piece of software. So I'm going to export this, upload it to the YouTube channel, and this is the process that I use each time to make one of these. So that is, in a nutshell, how to do one of these videos. As always, like I said on that video, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of it, and I hope that it was helpful.
If you're facing a unique problem with podcasting or remote learning, we can help. Reach out to us at thepodcastingstore.com and we'll see what solutions we can find for you. And if you like what you hear, do me a favor and tell a friend. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for our e-newsletter, and you'll never miss another podcast or video again. This is Drew with thepodcastingstore.com. Thank you for listening.